Well, good evening, folks, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman out here next to my woodshed, just doing a little bit of thinking back and reminiscing on the last few years, and also of times way before that, before I actually started carrying a camera in the woods and sharing my outdoor experiences with folks like you. And it's you that I really am making this video for. This is to celebrate 10,000 subscribers. Those of you out there that have been kind enough to watch the videos and share your experiences, I really enjoy reading your stories. I absolutely just love that. So, you know, any stories that you have, believe me, they're very much appreciated. I think I'll do a video on just telling some hunting stories, you know, hunting and fishing, because I've got some friends that I talk to quite regularly, and they always like to share their hunting experiences. You know, whether it's deer hunting, squirrel hunting, or turkey hunting, they're just all fascinating, and they're special times that we have in the woods. And a lot of those special times, you know, you have when you're by yourself. It's just experiences that you carry with you, and it's not necessarily always the ones that you harvest, it's the ones that get away, folks. Like the last turkey I just called in a few weeks ago. It was the weekend before the season closed. Now this year the season stayed open later than it ever has here in Tennessee, because Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency had delayed opening the season by 2 weeks, and they actually went down from 3 gobblers to 2 for a harvest limit. And I had already taken one. That's him right there. Made a beautiful fan display. Great morning hunt right there. But anyway, like I said, it was the last week of the hunt, and then the following weekend was the last weekend. I went one more time, but I didn't have any luck. But anyway, I had this turkey gobbling because I was out looking for some sign, where some fresh turkey sign where they had been scratching, and right there I heard some crows coming through, and I heard a turkey gobble. And then I moved a little bit closer so that I could get in position, and there was kind of an open flat, and then it rolled off to the side of a hill, and he was on the other side of the hill there. And I got set up and started calling, and he responded, and he gobbled probably 10 or 12 times. And then finally, on the last gobble, I waited 40 minutes without making a peep, and I didn't hear that turkey gobble one more time. And then I happened to look up and see some movement, and I raised my hand up to move the camera, and he caught that movement. And by the time I got the gun up, it was too late. And that'll stay with me from now on, folks. It's one of those memorable hunts, and I learned something from that. As long as I've been turkey hunting, I've harvested so many turkeys. You just cannot get away with any unnecessary movement, and I knew that. But I wanted so desperately to get that turkey on camera. What I should have just done was raised the gun up and shot him, and then got the camera on him. But, you know, that's another one that got away that'll stay in my memory. But anyway, also the guns that we carry, you know, are special to us. I know they're just things, they're material items, but they're companions in the woods. They are to me anyway. And I think most of you will agree that you have your favorite shotgun or rifle that you like to go squirrel hunting or deer hunting with or whatever, and turkey hunting. And for me, it's got to be this Remington 1187 12 gauge Magnum. It's actually a 3-inch Magnum. I don't see the need for using a 3.5 inch. This does just fine. It patterns good out to past 50 yards. You know, if a turkey comes in to the 50-yard mark, especially nowadays using TSS shot, I have no problem putting that turkey down. And I've taken them at even longer distances than that using the heavy shot, you know. And I'll share some of those hunts with you in this video. But like I say, this is to celebrate 10,000 subscribers, and I wanted to share this gun with you. I'll be taking a shot out here with it, and we'll see how well it patterns, just using some regular copper-plated lead. Now, I equipped this shotgun with a Carlson's choke that was suitable for using TSS and heavy heavy shot, you really got to watch what you're doing when you're choosing chokes, because not all of them are designed for that super hard tungsten shot, and you could damage your choke or your shotgun if you use the wrong choke, folks. So make sure you read the package. It's also equipped with some TruGlo sights, some open sights. Here, I'll give you a close-up. I put these on years ago, and I'll tell you what, they still work as good now as they did when they were brand new, and I can zero in on a turkey's head, I mean right away. I have no trouble seeing those sights, even in lower light conditions, like real early in the morning when a turkey's coming off the roost right away. I remember one hunt that I had over here on some public ground. I went in there and I could hear several turkeys gobbling, so I just picked one out and I started running towards him, and I stayed inside the wood line to make sure that he didn't see me. And about 25 yards or so out, I put up a hen and a Jake decoy, and then I got back against an old red oak tree, and he was just hammering away. You know, the turkey was still probably over 100 yards maybe, and I knew from when I made that first call, when he turned around and gobbled, he directed that gobble towards me. And it wasn't long, you know, he gobbled probably 25 more times, and then I did a fly down cackle, and it wasn't long after that I could see him coming down, and he flew right towards my decoys, and he was already in range. And like I say, the sun wasn't quite up yet. You know, it was light, it was legal shooting hours, but when he came up and he turned around, he was strutting. I got my gun up, he had his fan, he was faced away from me so I could just see his fan, and when he turned around I gave him a quick sharp cluck and he raised that head up and I shot him. That was an opening day public land gobbler. Now that's the gun that I normally carry with me most of the time, but I've also got another one here, and I actually killed my first longbeard with this shotgun back in 1996, and it's my Remington 870 Express Magnum. This one also has a 3-inch chamber, and it's a good old gun, really. I put some walnut furniture on here because it had just a regular cheap birch wood or whatever that was walnut stained, but I found a nice walnut stock and fore-end and equipped the gun with that. I'll give you a close-up here. The gun's not really quite as shiny as it looks like in the video, but it's a good functioning old gun, and it throws a pretty good pattern. This one here is equipped with a comp and choke. I think I'll use this gun a little bit more often now. The only thing I don't like so much about the gun is it's got that long barrel. I think this one's a 28 or 30-inch barrel, whereas that one's only a 26-inch barrel. And it's just handier to carry this shotgun around in the woods. And it also doesn't kick as hard as that pump shotgun does. That gas-operated system is just easier on your shoulder, or it just seems to be that way. And the shells that I'm using currently, I've got some right here, is this Federal Heavyweight TSS. And this is number 7 shot. And it patterns really good out of that gun. Now what I used to use before that was this Heavy Shot, Heavy 13. And honestly, I have no problems using this anymore. Now this is shot size number 5, and I've killed turkeys out pretty good ways out to 50 yards with this stuff, and still don't have any problems using it. But now the TSS does outperform it because it's a smaller shot, you got more shot in there, and it also shoots a tighter pattern, generally speaking. Now this is what I originally started using when I first started turkey hunting. I killed my first turkey and longbeard using this Federal Premium copper plated shot number 5. There's the shell, folks, and I think a lot of guys started out with this stuff, and it's still deadly effective. I've used Winchester, like the longbeard loads, and those worked great. Very similar in performance to this right here. Well, folks, just looking at these old shells, these Federal shells, it just brings back memories, just holding them in my hand and looking at them, because like I said, this is what I started out with. So let me share my very first turkey hunt with you. And it was 1994 when I first started, and I went with a friend of mine, and we heard some turkeys gobble that morning. But that year I didn't actually kill a turkey. I didn't harvest one. So I found some public ground that I wanted to hunt, and I knew there were turkeys there because I had scouted the area out and I'd heard some turkeys gobble there. And I found a 12 gauge single shot. It was either Harrington Richardson or a New England Firearms. I'm not really sure. It was 12 gauge, had a 3-inch chamber with a factory full choke. And let me tell you something, that gun right there, shooting those 2-ounce loads through it, it would stomp you pretty good. You better have a good hold of that gun, because it would kick the fire out of you. I mean, it would rip your head off if you weren't ready. But it threw a really good pattern, you know, out to 35, 40 yards, it shot really good. So I was confident in my gun, you know, I had plenty of confidence. And anyway, the next year, 1995, found me back in the turkey woods, and I got up early that morning, and it was still dark in the woods when I got out there, and I remember hearing the first turkeys gobble, and they were across an open field on another ridge. A small creek ran through that valley there. So I got down off the ridge I was in, and I got over on the other side, and I was in the woods with them, but they had started moving off, you know, and I set up and started calling, and I got a few turkeys to answer, and I just sat there. I was up against a great big oak tree, and I was well hidden because there were some vines in front of me, and I was yelping away on a box call and a little slate call that I had, and everything went quiet after a while. And I remember looking up, and I saw a turkey hen go by, and she was just feeding, and she'd stop and look at me, and I thought, well, okay, I'm in a good position here. I had a good feeling about that spot. Then a little while later, I just started yelping again, and I think I was using a small box call, but either way, I got a response off to my left, and it was over on there was a gully right next to me there, and it was over on the other side. And I just waited. I just stopped. I didn't want to overcall. I was going by the advice of some of my turkey hunting friends. They said, you know, if you got one coming, don't overcall. But of course, if they're going to gobble at me now, I'm going to yelp at them and have fun with them. But anyway, I responded to him, and he gobbled, and then I'd respond, and then I just hushed up, and I could tell he was getting closer. And then I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear any more gobbles. And I kind of turned my head, and I thought I heard something walking through the woods, and sure enough, it was that turkey. And he gobbled like 20 yards from me, or 25 yards, just down the hill, but I still couldn't see him. I had my gun up on my knee, you know, and I looked, and I could see him coming up the hill, and he got behind some trees, and he was in range. So I cocked the hammer back, and when he came out from behind the trees, he stretched that head up, and I popped him. And that gun rocked me back so hard, I just lost sight of everything. And I looked up, and I was looking around. I didn't see anything. I got up right away, and I could see my turkey laying over there. I'd killed him. And it was a Jake. But he gobbled like, you know, like a mature gobbler. He came up there strutting and spitting and drumming and everything. So I didn't know. I was so excited just to be able to harvest a turkey. And here's that picture. Well, as you can probably tell from the picture, I was a much younger man then. But like I said, I really got into turkey hunting right after that, because that just fired me up, you know. So I went out and I bought this Remington 870, and I started harvesting turkeys with this. And in 1996, on that same public ground there, I harvested a really nice gobbler. It was a 26 pounder, I believe, and he had nearly an 11-inch beard, and I think it was 1 3/8 spurs. And that was my first long beard, you know. And that was before I actually started carrying a camera into the woods and recording my hunts. I wish I had a lot of those hunts on video, that way I could share it with you guys. And you know, the memories just play back for me. And that's the reason I come out here and I ponder sometimes, just thinking back on memorable hunts like that. There's just so many great memories. I guess I got my gobbler for the day. It worked perfect. There's 2 of them there. They came in just right. Had a hen decoy right there, and I was set up right there at that tree. That's the way it's supposed to work, folks. What I need to do is get down and go around. These are the same birds I was on before. What I need to do is go down in this gully, go around, and get up there pretty quick. That's where they're headed right now. Okay, I'm trying to get ahead of these turkeys, folks. Staying on this other side. Okay, they're right up here. They're right up here. Well, that worked out. Well, folks, that tactic worked pretty well. Boy, he answered that. Answering it every time. Man, he's sounding off good. Just gotta give it some time. He'll probably come right by here. Just let him come on. I think I see him. Several more toms right in there, but I got one down right here. Oh, yeah. Well, there's a longbeard. Guess it did happen this morning, didn't it? Well, folks, it is now 6:47 in the morning, and I just harvested this gobbler about 20 minutes ago or so, and I couldn't get real good footage of this one here. I had some more gobblers coming from my right, adjacent to a field, and this one here just kind of snuck in on me. I heard him spitting and drumming, and when I saw him, he was right there within range. He was like 30 yards away, and when I turned my head, I think he caught a little movement there, and he was getting ready to leave, so I had to go ahead and take the shot. I could tell that he was strutting when I heard him spitting and drumming, and I could see the full fan, so I knew he was a mature bird. Okay, guys, I've got one of these shells left. This is a 2-ounce load of number 6 Remington Premier Magnum, and I wanted to try this out because I think I can still get this, and I'm going to be setting up this target, this turkey head target, and using it in my Remington 1187. Now I put a different choke in here. This is a 640 comp and choke, so it's pretty tight, but I think it should perform pretty well with this Premier Magnum. So let's get the target put up and take a shot real quick. All right, guys, I got that target set up down there at 40 yards. So let's see how well these Remington Premier Magnum number 6 does at that distance. Let me go grab that target. We'll take a look at it. Well, folks, here's the target that I just shot. Give you a close-up there. And as you can see, we got several in the brain right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the brain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the vertebrae. And all in all, probably around 30 pellets hitting right there in the head and neck area. And the pattern's pretty well centered right here. That was my point of aim, of course, the center of that circle. And as you can see, the pattern starts to open up a little bit here and over here, so most of the pattern hit right up here. So that would have been a dead turkey any day of the week. And at 40 yards, you know, that's not using that tungsten super shot. That's just using traditional copper plated shot number 6. And with the TSS loads, I'm using number 7 or number 9. That's going to be a much denser pattern. And what I have found out is that you don't really need that tight of a choke using the TSS shot. Actually, a more open choke would do better. And I'm using a 670 in my Remington 1187 using TSS. And this was shot using a 640 choke. So, you know, you just have to experiment with different chokes and different shot sizes and different loads to get your best performance. But that's a pretty good pattern right there. Well, guys, I was just sitting here thinking back a while ago and pondering over times of the past. Like I said, I always do. I like to come out here and sometimes I'll start me a little campfire or whatever. But I was just thinking, somewhere I've got the original shell and beard from that first turkey that I told you about, that Jake that I killed, and here it is. like I said, those Federal number 5 premium loads is what I started out with, and I used them for several years, and I killed a lot of turkeys with these. But I still got the original little beard from that Jake right there, and I've kept this on my fireplace mantle all these years. And here I've got the original cape from that turkey, and it's still in real good shape, as you can see. That's definitely a Jake fan. And when I shot this turkey, I didn't know. I mean, I just knew it was a gobbler. It came up there strutting and gobbling, and he came in kind of from the side, so I didn't see the fan all the way. And I was just so tickled when I harvested this turkey. I didn't really care. It would have been nice if it was a long beard for my first turkey, but you know, I was proud to have that anyway, and I've kept it all these years. And then I was also thinking which calls that I used, and I remember distinctly at the time there was a call that came out by Night and Hail called the Dueling Hens call. It was a little push button call, and I've still got it. And it came with a striker, and it had a little platform on there that you could yelp with, and also you could push the little striker back and forth and it would make a yelping sound. But I also used this call right here. This is a Lynch's World Champion Turkey Call, model number 102. And as you'll see, this still makes a really good turkey sound. Has that nice high-pitched rollover into that raspiness at the end. And I guarantee you, if you take this into turkey woods in the springtime, you could call in a gobbler just as good now as when it was new. You know, there's nothing wrong with this call. The rubber bands have rotted off of it, but that's no problem. You can put new rubber bands on here. And this one here, I painted a turkey head right there on the paddle. But I'll tell you what, it still sounds great. Good call right here. If you're looking for a good box call, you can't go wrong with those Lynch calls. They've always been great calls. But anyway, like I said, I was thinking, that was in 1995, so in 2020 it would have made it 25 years. Now that it's 2023, that would make it 28 years, nearly 30 years ago when I killed that first gobbler, that first turkey that I showed you there. So, you know, time sure flies, and you know, I've been doing the YouTube thing since 2019, so the years are just rolling by, and I'm hoping to continue this and bring you more good content. Well guys, it's getting a little bit late in the evening now, and these mosquitoes are starting to chew on me a little bit, so it's time for me to close out this video. But before I do, let me take this opportunity to say thank you to all my viewers and subscribers. I really appreciate all the support that you've shown me through the years, and especially for those of you that have taken the time to share your stories and your experiences in the comments section. A heartfelt thanks goes out to all of you guys that have done that, because I think that as sportsmen and hunters and outdoorsmen, we share a type of camaraderie that the rest of society is missing out on. I mean, I really believe that, because we understand those special times that we have with our friends and family in the outdoors, or even if we're out alone, you know, and we're able to tell the story later on, even if it's in a video like this. It's just a very special thing, because those are special moments in our lives. And it's just a great opportunity to be able to share that. That's the reason I carry a camera in the woods, so that I can share the experience with you guys. So with that being said, remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, whatever your outdoor activity happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And also remember, hit that like button, smash the bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until next time, this is the Cumberland Outdoorsman wishing you well. You all stay safe out there, and God bless. I'll be seeing you.